WhiskyJason here. Hi, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American tasting really rare and exotic whiskeys this time. I've already done my video about the Tomintoul Tundra. Not really mine. I have very, very high hopes for the Tomintoul TOR. Talk about what that means in a moment. And here, the Tarn of the Peat is something I'll do in my next video. All right, so what do we have here? We have a 1 liter bottle. We have no whiskey base number, 1 liter. We have a very interesting color here. So a friend of mine, he bought them up at the Danish-German border at a so-called border shop where he had to pay in Danish crowns for this. He charged it to his credit card, even though he still was on basically German soil. Well, he was on a boat, and the boat was in the harbor, and then it still wasn't international waters. But hey, that's the way the people did it here, the border shop. So it was a Danish company on a Danish boat in German waters, and then they didn't have to pay the taxes in Denmark. Yay! And so all the people in Scandinavia come in there and buy these bottles and so on. So this is a very, I don't know, I think it must have been a travel retail release that never happened, because travel retail hasn't happened the last 2 years because of the evil C word there. All right, so the first thing I must admit is I do like this burgundy color. The second thing I must admit, I really love the red letters here. So I'm going to read the back of the box here. First of all, Tomintoul is a smooth, very important for them. Every single time they write Tomintoul, the gentle dram. Is a very smooth whiskey born in the wild and stunning environment of the Cairngorms National Park, situated in the Highlands of Scotland. The high altitude, fresh mountain air, and spring water combine to create a sweet and complex whiskey that is truly wild in its nature, yet gentle in spirit. Same thing we had in the last bottle. Now we have the interesting part. In the Cairngorms granite rock tors, T-O-R-S, are an impressive feature of the landscape. T-O-R-R, tor in Scottish Gaelic, simply means a freestanding rocky outcrop at the summit of a hill or mountain. Over time, these rocks are shaped and formed by the wild environment around them. Tomintoul TOR is a bold, prominent, rich, and full-flavored single malt finished, exclusively in Oloroso, butts from the Andalusia region of Spain. Very, very good. Now, I read that also in my German video, and it was no problem. I can translate until it came to the one word here that I've never, ever heard before is the word, in English, yes, but in German, no, outcrop. And then it was like, okay, good. Stop, pause, and then I looked it up in my dictionary, and the literal translation is rock nose. Yeah, it's just at the very rock nose. It was like, yeah, that makes sense. It's typical German. They just put words together. They don't create new words. Well, I guess the outcrop, the crop that goes out. So it's also just a word fusion. But it's just like, oh, okay, good. Now I know what that is in German. I've never, ever done that before. I've translated a lot of things into German or from German in English, but geological mountainside terminology has not been it. So we learned a new word today, T-O-R-R. That is that wonderful thing here. To quote, simply means a freestanding rocky outcrop at the summit of a hill or a mountain. So now you can impress your friends in Scotland the next time you're there and you take a look at it. So what am I going to compare it to? I'm going to compare it to something that I think is probably going to be the best value for money still, the GlenDronach 12. Now over here in Germany, this used to cost, and I'm talking about 6 months ago, this used to cost 32 euros. Now, I told everyone go out and buy the bottle because, hey, they're going to increase the price. And what did they do? They increased the price. It is now around 38 euros. So 10% would have been 3 euros. It's over 20% more expensive now. So the difference between 32 and 38 doesn't sound like a lot, but hey, that's 6 euros more, 20%. And so a 20% more expensive whiskey is still the bargain. So it's still cheaper than most everything out there on the market at the moment in that price range. I paid 58 euros for this bottle, which means at a 0.7 bottle conversion, it would be 40 euros and 80 cents, which is still a very, very good price for this. Now I take a look at the German market and I just take a look and say, okay, good. I want something under 50% ABV. Why? Because this is 40, this is 43 as a comparison. I want something a sherry, I want something that's not peaty, and I want something that costs less than 40 euros. What do I have? The first one that's recommended, at least here at whisky.de, which is whisky.com, just for the German market, is then the Glendronach 12. Then we have the Glenfarclas 12. Then we have the Glenallachie 12. Then we have the Tamnavulin. I don't know about you, but I had the Tamnavulin just recently, and I was pleasantly surprised at the value for money ratio and the taste. Glenmorangie 15. Ooh, we can get that for a good price, apparently. We can also get here the Glenfiddich Maltmasters. We can get the Edeladauer 10. I have not had that whiskey for such a long time. We can get the Knock-Can-Do richly matured 15-year-old as well. We can get the brother of this. That's the Tomintoul Sherried. 40%, 38 euros. Might be the same. We have the Abelauer Forest Reserve, 10 years old. We have here as well the Glengoyne 12. We have here then the Glencadam, which is the cousin of this, Reserve Andalusia Oloroso. Why do I say the cousin? Because Glencadam and Tomintoul belong to the same company. And Glencadam is 46%, non-chilled filtered and no color added. Beautiful stuff. Glen Scotia Double Cask, did not like it. I think there's very, very big batch variations there. And that was about it. So, in that price or value for money there. All right, so if you look at the color here, unfortunately, it does not say natural color anywhere. Now, this does still. I have an older bottle from 2020. It says natural color, non-chilled filter, 43%. This is probably chill filtered and maybe also color added, but that'd be a unique color. I have not, come on, look at this. This is a beautiful reddish type of color, and that's not normal, the color here for artificial coloring. On the nose, ooh, I like. This is a little bit of a not yet ripe strawberry moment. I actually have over here in Germany, we have some cheap yogurts from a discounter called Aldi. You may have heard of them, one of the biggest stores or one of the biggest companies in the world for for grocery stores or discounters. And they actually have a cheap strawberry yogurt that we used to, when we were students, we'd eat those more because they were cheap. They were like, you get 4 for under €1. All right, so that would be something I get here. A very, very nice nose. It even smells a little creamy. Now, in comparison to that, the Glendronach 12, this has a little bit more of a sour moment. This is very sweet, very smooth, very silky. This has a little bit more of a sour moment, a little bit more of that that strawberry moment, and the milk chocolate moment. There's some European oak in here, I'm definitely sure of, which I really, really like. This seems older and this seems more complex in the nose. Now, if I had to pick between the two, I would actually tend towards to go to the Glendronach because of that complexity, because of that milk chocolatey type of moment there. But if I were just looking for something that was just a little bit sweet and not complex, this actually might be an alternative. So while drinking this in my other video in German, I thought about this. It was like, would I really want a 1-liter bottle of this? I think I would get somewhat sick and tired of it after like half, because it has a very, well, I'm going to taste it. The taste profile does this. It's just so consistent. There's no transitions. There's hardly any changes in there. It just starts and ends exactly at the same note. Now, if you love that note, you might love this whiskey as well. I like it, but we're not going to fall in love with each other here. Now let's try this this one here. Cheers, Solange, to your health. Now the thing that surprised me the most was the mouthfeel. Excellent. It's coating. It's thick. There's a creaminess to this which I would not have expected. Well done. The strawberry berry moment is there. A tiny, tiny little bit of that oak spices. Here we have the chocolatey, but here we have the oak spices. Now on the tube, it says here on the nose, rich and inviting with aromas of dried fruits. Yep. butter icing, I have no idea what that is, and toasted nuts and cake spices. I think they mean Christmas cake spices, but hey, who knows? Maybe even carrot cake spices. Yeah. Now, sweet on the palate and rounded with layers of sultana, milk, chocolate, and creamy toffee. Lifted by hints of cedar wood spice. Lifted. Not enhanced, lifted. All right, and on the finish, it's nutty and warming with notes of dried figs, walnut, and toasted oak. All right, very, very nice. I like this. I like this actually more than I thought I was. On the nose, it's a C plus, and on the taste, it's a C plus plus. Very nice, but as I said, very, very one-lined, not transitions, not difference in notes, just very, very simple monotone. That's the word. Okay, let's try this. The Glendronach. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Much more complex, deeper, more of that chocolatey moments in there. I do like this better. This is a C plus whiskey. Value for money, 40 euros for 0.7, 58 for a 1 liter. A solid C. Now, if you like that, my question of the day is, what would you like to have as your low budget, 40 euros, low budget? All right. Sherry cask. It's not a bomb, but a sherry cask, a sherry driven whiskey, a sherry cask driven whiskey. I really am interested in the Tamnavulin. I have to try the sherry cask here. I only had the double cask, but that was more than I expected, and I think there's a lot more out there to discover from different brands and from different places here at the moment. All right, so there are selections out there. They might get smaller and smaller over the years, and we might have to increase the price up to 50, but hey, this is where we start, and this is where we go, and this is where we go back to, hopefully, after a while as well. We don't always have to have the single cask. We don't always have to have the cask strengths, but we can also have a 40 or 43% whiskey and just go, that's good. And I don't have to dissect it, and I don't have to really think about it too much, but just enjoy it. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, telling others, and sharing this video. Hey, Tomintoul is an interesting distillery. They do have some good stuff out there, but it's not all over the place in the world and not available as it could or should be. If you can't find that, go for a Glencadam, the sister distillery. Also, Glencadam has some very nice stuff, and I'm going to once again just remind you of the Glencadam Reserva Andalusia Oloroso. 46%, under 40 euros over here. A very interesting whiskey, to say the least. All the best. See you soon. Whiskey Jason. Bye-bye.